We have mentioned that we are here in the middle of our life, midlife, and apparently there are so many fun things that happen. So today I'm going to go a little deep. We've been a little superficial, talking about some of our silly stuff like my pool noodle, which, by the way, I used my noodle on Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
Ooh,
It was a
hooray.
big win. Big win for me.
Hooray.
Yes. Anywho, today's topics, we are going to talk about midlife wellness. Health and wellness is the topic today. It seems to be a hot topic. I go to work and talk about it. I come home and talk about it. I talk to you ladies about it. Everybody wants to talk about it. And I am in this season of life, which Sheila and Rachel, I assume you guys are in this season of life as well. Some days are harder than others. I'm going to be honest. Some days there are tears. I have reached a place where I told myself I'm no longer buying clothes because if they don't fit me, then maybe I should make some lifestyle choices. Ask me how that's working.
How's that working, Dana?
Not so great. Not my favorite. Not my favorite choice. But, we kind of talked about this several times, the three of us before, and I just want to, share what you feel comfortable sharing. What I feel really confident in is everybody. We're just focusing, on women in midlife. Like we all are in a season, and some of us are doing it well. Some of us may be on the struggle bus. Some of us may be somewhere in the middle. And I need to remind myself. And so I want to be reminded that it's all okay. What I'm going through, I feel like my body is on strike and it is revolting against me. And I don't know what to do, to be honest. I have friends who have had weight loss surgery. I have friends who are on the GLP-1 shot. I have friends who are just, not struggling at all and are happy and just embrace themselves. I mean, I've got friends that are my age. I have friends that are older that are going through this, friends that are younger that are, doing all this stuff. And I feel really overwhelmed, to be honest. I don't know what to do. I know that my body is in midlife. So I'm going to try to keep this focused to just like health and wellness. And what I mean by that is, what are our exercise routines? Do we have one? What have we heard? What have we read? What kind of information have we gathered? I feel like there's too much access to information sometimes. And what are some things that have worked for us? And, what are some things maybe that aren't, that we could use some encouragement on? And then I assume next time or some other time, we'll dive in several times to the most fun topic in this life, which is menopause or perimenopause or all of the things, whatever kind of pause is happening to us. So I just want to stick today to health and wellness. But if you're following along, this is where I'm going. The Dana train is starting here and it's rolling into menopause. So yeah, I actually decided about 2 weeks ago that I needed to do something, make a change, make some better choices. And it's soul sucking. I cut out all food that I love to eat that I feel like is delicious to me. Not as a lifestyle change, as a let's do something to see what's happening. Is it, really hormonal? Is it really this? Am I, I think I'm eating healthy, but am I really making good choices? To just kind of figure out where I am. And unfortunately, I miss cheese and sugar tremendously, and I feel so much better. Ugh.
Really?
Why?
Really?
Yes.
Okay, and you found that out early on when you started this. Okay.
What about bread, carbs?
Yeah, I did something Whole30ish, if you guys have heard of that. So I'm doing nothing processed, a lot of protein, some fats, but I'm trying to stay away from breads, rice, pastas, no fast food, which everybody here loves to eat out all of the time.
Yes.
All of the time, every meal.
It's so easy.
If you're hardcore in it, it's like, it's nothing. It's like make your own salad dressings, make your own food. I don't quite take it that far. I've done this before and I did, and it was great, but that's just not, I'm not in that headspace right now. Maybe I will be, but yeah, nothing processed, nothing refined. So, I mean, for as good as I feel, I wish I had dropped 10 pounds. I have not, but I feel better. So that's a good thing.
It's good. That's where you start.
That's right. That's where you start, and it's a process for sure.
Rachel, if you're comfortable, I know that you went through some big food changes in how you feel your body a little while ago. And so I don't know if you know this, but I think about you every day and every week. And I'm like, you, Dana, need to make better choices. Rachel did it and she looks fantastic and she says she's happy and she feels better. So you've definitely been the little voice in my head nagging me to encouraging me, maybe not nagging,
Not
encouraging
nag. Yeah,
me.
no, good.
No, you're not nagging me. But I'm just curious, kind of, if you want to share a little bit of your experience or what you did and what you changed and what you found that works.
So it's kind of funny and I guess ironic. I did have to go back to the doctor this week. I had something going on, so I had to go get it looked at. And as I'm checking in, my past medical history pops up on the screen to do the e-check-in, and I'm noticing all these things. And hypertension was on there. It's like, nope, no longer.
Ah,
Uh, Glycemia. And I was like, what is that? It better not be what I think it is. And so it sure was. And so 2 years ago, and I go every year ever since my mom passed, and we knew diabetes, high blood pressure was in the family history. I go every year to get an annual checkup for my blood
mhm,
sugar, my health, weight, etc. So 2 years ago, one of my tests came back and it was 1 point over what it needed to be at the average. And turns out it was my blood sugar. And I said,
mm,
nope, ain't gonna do it. And I knew after COVID and even prior to COVID, I could feel the weight coming on. Didn't want to admit that I was larger than what I was normally used to and accustomed to. Even after having the kids, I think
sure.
the max I may have put on was maybe 15, 20 pounds, but I, would go walk and it would just fall off immediately, right? Your 20s and 30s doesn't just
Mm-hmm.
stay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you hit your 40s, it's a little harder to come off even if you try to follow that same regimen. So, happened to be at one of my son's baseball games. Saw a friend. I looked at her. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it looks fabulous!" What? And I, at the time, had already started doing. They're called resets through the company I'm now with as well. Lost 4 pounds there. It was kind of a bad timing because it was over Christmas, which is probably not the best time to try to start a weight loss program with all of the holiday foods, the sweets, everything that you're enjoying. So I was like, okay, so I, I started one in December, didn't go so well. I started again in January, lost 4 pounds. I was like, that was nice. But it was, and you did it in 2 weeks. So I wasn't expecting major results, but I knew I needed to do something based on the results I'd gotten the previous year. So I had a conversation with her. She got me on a conversation with her coach, and I ended up doing this journey. I'll just put it out there. It was Optavia,
Mhm,
and did that for 4 months, lost 14 pounds. Great. I mean, everything was just feeling great after that. The minute I'm like, I don't want to buy mail food or, the food that comes in the mail every month.
mhm.
And it's not
Because it's an
intended for that.
investment, right?
It is. It is a large investment, and that first box will always give you kind of that sticker shock, like, oh my gosh. But the benefit you have from it, and actually sticking to plan and following hardcore decisions, like I'm not going to eat that. And there's a book. There's
Mhm,
guidelines that you follow. You weigh your food. You eat X number of times a day. But I was determined because I knew if I kept going down the path that I was going, what that meant based on my family history and everything that had happened in my parents and my mom, especially. I was like, can't do this. I'm too young for this, and I'm not going to go down that path. So I made the decision to make the investment in myself. I had the support of my husband, my family. I've always been kind of a health nut. I'd rather have a salad over, some kind of big steak or something. My kids think I'm weird. It's like, it's not a beef eater.
no chicken fried steak for you, huh?
No, nothing. So yeah, and we had already been trying to do things to cut out the fried foods, processed foods, and so I,
Mhm,
I wasn't really big on any of that. My biggest hang up though was the breads, the carbs, the sugars. because I'm a big sweets person. Give me a cookie, a cake, candy. It's mine. So that was kind of the biggest hurdle. I didn't have to worry about sodas because I had already pretty much given up on any kind of soda unless it was a special treat once a year or so. Tea, I wasn't really doing tea. So, and I still don't. Every now and then I'll have a green tea, which is perfectly well and actually good for your heart. So if I do have tea, I'm trying to make sure that it is, and I don't do caffeine because it does something to my heart and the rest of my body is like doesn't like it. So anything decaf, green tea, or water are usually my go-to beverages. And of course, sticking on plan, you're like it's recommended 64 ounces of water as a woman, but do you want to try to shoot for 75 to 100 ounces in a day? Don't always reach that, but I do at least try to maintain that 64 ounces a day. And if you're getting started, always try to do half of your body weight. So, take that what it is, whatever your body weight is, cut it in half, and that's how much water you should be maintaining. And
Dude, I'd be a puddle. Like that's a
you
lot of
will be a
water.
puddle, and it does get some getting used to, but now it's like, okay, a Stanley Cup is what, 32 ounces. You drink two of those a day. And I've learned also if you drink it through a straw, kind of tricks your brain and you just slurp that stuff down like it's nothing throughout the day and you're done. So I don't mind that. But I think now that I'm kind of not on the male food order as much, it is getting a little harder because you're having to maintain, and I was working out at least 2 to 3 times a week. I still maintain that. I try to go for at least 4 or 5 a week, but 30 minutes at a time, a day, sometimes longer, just depending on what kind of exercise you're incorporating. And really, it's just about moving your body. Go for a walk for 10 minutes, stretch for 10 minutes. You can break it up into 5 or 10 increments so you're not doing 30 minutes at a time, but it also helps to kind of change up what you're doing. So, I like yoga. I like to dance. I like to walk. I really love walking outside. Of course, right now with it being as hot as it is, you're either getting that walk in the morning, which I admit I'm not as much because I'd rather sleep. So I'll get it in the evening. Even going to the pool, Dana, that would be something great. Getting in some laps. I mean, we love going to the pool, but
Be
you
serious.
know,
Right.
I this is where we kind of get our skills back. How fast can I actually swim? So,
Yeah.
but I've heard that works as well. So I think it's just a matter of your choice, your preference, and also having the dedication, having the support. You guys were great. When you saw me going through that and even tried giving you samples, you're like, it's okay.
No,
So,
I'm not a protein bar fan. I
yeah.
try, we have some in the house right now, and my husband loves them. He's like, these are so good. And every protein bar, and I swear to you, I have tried them all. I've tried yours. I've tried the kind from the store. I've tried the Amway kind and the mail order kind and the knockoff version and the power. All of them taste like sawdust to me. I can't do it. I don't care what is covered in and how much chocolate is on that thing. I'm like, mm-mm. So I'm not a bar girl. I just can't do it.
Well,
And I'm not a shake person either. So when they tell me, and now that I'm kind of maintaining, it's like you should be doing whey shakes and protein shakes. I'm like, mm-mm. I'd rather just work out and sweat it out and minimize my portions. So, and that's another thing, there's so many things that you can do, and it between a woman and a man. A man gives up looking at sugar for 10 minutes and he's lost 10 pounds, right?
Right.
Whereas it takes us months. And I think it's just the way we're built. So, but it also is preference. I'm kind of the same way about the protein bars, but I rather have a bar in my hand versus anything else because at least I can tolerate it and just wash it down with water. It doesn't bother me as much. And I guess I've gotten so accustomed to the taste, it doesn't even probably actually that is the only thing that I stick on plan with is buying those bars every month. Because to me, it's like a granola bar in when I taste it because it does have chocolate flavor to it. I have a lemon flavored one that I get, and I'm a big lemon lover. I think again, it's preference. It's your desire, your dedication. I'm not weighing my food anymore because you figure that out after a few weeks. You're like, okay, I know what the portion size is, or I know what proteins I can have, or like for shrimp, 7 ounces of shrimp versus 5 ounces of a red steak. I'm probably going to go for the shrimp more than I am the steak, just because, again, I'm not a meat eater. I'd rather have a bunch of sides, which is also another problem because.
Well, you've definitely found a good rhythm to things, and what you're doing now is working for you in terms of maintenance. Just from what I've heard so far, we are so different in the path that we choose and how we get to our health and well-being. And it's totally okay to give yourself some grace. Everybody's different. It's okay to have to reset and not to feel like a failure. You just start up again because what you were doing before was not working, and so you find another path for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead,
I think
Rachel.
there's just this, like, there's so many things you can do and try. And when I started that program, I was like, I had like all of these little puzzle pieces. They were just kind of everywhere. I knew what I needed to eat, or not quite the food that I probably shouldn't have been consuming. But I was working out. I was getting the water in. I had my essentials and vitamins, and the oils that I was in taking internally. But I was missing something, and it was my food. My food was that missing piece.
Hmm.
So when you learn how to balance all of those pieces together, your puzzle comes together and it connects, and then you find your routine. So I know what I should and should not eat, or what to avoid. Now, I'm not saying I've completely done a 360 on every food that we get here. Not gonna happen. But I've learned to, portion control and understand how many ounces I can take in without overdoing it. It is a little harder now, and I can feel a few of the pounds definitely coming back. I really am not maintaining the goal weight that I want, but I know what to do because I have those tools now under my belt, which I think is very essential for anybody who is serious about taking their health under control. For me, it was that warning flag. You're a point over. Somebody would you're like, okay, it's just a point. Well, for me, it was a red flag because I knew based on the past where that could go, and I didn't want to go down that road. But yeah, you also need to, and don't ever think that you can do it on your own. I really think the support of your family and your friends behind you, cheering you on, or not giving you, hey Dana, you want another chocolate bar?
Oh, for
It's
sure.
just one. No.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because, I mean, you guys know this, but I work in an office right now. Like my core group of people is all men, 4 men and myself. And in the last, of course, like the day after I decided to do this, they were like, hey, we're all going to be in town. Let's go do some team building or go out after work. And I was like, I don't know if I can go. And they're giving me a hard time. And so finally I said, listen, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And they were actually very supportive. And they asked me like every couple of days, how's it going? The first couple of days I would say, I'm very hangry and crabby. So I'm going to shut my door because I don't want to snap at you guys. They've been really nice. So it's not always something that we want to go broadcast. Sometimes for me, it's hard for me to say because I don't want to be tempted or somebody to think it's funny because my threshold is still pretty low. When you surround yourself with people that are supportive and support you, it does make a difference. Do you have anything, Sheila, that you have experienced or any thoughts on that?
I've definitely discovered that as I get older, what I've done before in the past to, let's say, for instance, keep my weight down isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
This year I'll be 53 years old, and and I celebrate that for sure. I am also probably postmenopausal, like 10 years now. So what I've discovered though for myself is that intermittent fasting helps me.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I feel like I eat pretty healthy, but I eat quite a bit of it. So my portion control is not very good at all. And, growing up, family events revolved a lot around food. When people came over to the house or when you came over for a party, people would welcome you in and say, "Hi, how are you? Have you eaten yet?" That was the greeting. "Hi, have you eaten yet? Come over." And so it's so hard. And right now I'm with my family, and boy, I've just eaten everything that I've laid my eyes on. But my journey right now includes, like I said, some intermittent fasting. That seems to be helping me, and as a reminder that I need to stop eating at a certain hour in the day. I've
Mhm.
also I've also learned that lifting weights is important as a woman now, and as we get older, make sure that we remain strong and that we're able to physically move about. So that's what I've been trying to do. And I do this on my own. My family sees the journey that I've been on, and they don't necessarily follow. I mean, we do our best to eat healthy, make healthy options, or make healthy choices at home. We certainly have things at home that I probably shouldn't be eating or laying my eyes on because I'm so tempted, so very
Mhm.
easily tempted.
Sheila, let me ask you, when you say intermittent fasting, what does that look like for you? Because I know there's lots of different options for that. When do you start eating? When do you stop eating?
There have been many different versions of that, but what I've found most helpful for myself is that 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock is the last time that I eat. And I'm okay the following morning not having breakfast. That's not really something that I enjoy lately, and I don't need it as an energy source. And my first meal will be around lunchtime. So, say 11 or 12 o'clock, I'll eat, and I do my best to eat moderately and make healthy choices. And yes, I've been cutting back on my carbs, trying to put in more veggies and meat, and increasing my protein intake. I read different things or I see different things on YouTube. And what I've heard is that for every pound that you weigh, you should eat an ounce of protein. So if I weigh, let's just say 100 pounds, then my intake should be about 100 grams of protein. And what I've also been doing is trying to walk. I've upped my steps from 10,000 to 20,000 steps, and that is really, really hard. And I've had many resets in the last couple of months, busy with work, busy with life.
I would like to pipe in here that Sheila is totally telling the truth. And when we went on our girls' trip to Fredericksburg, she was at her 20 steps a day, and she would make us walk around the block and walk up and down the
That's
street with
right.
her. And you guys, I'm talking like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, way past my bedtime. And she would say, "I got to get my 20,000 steps." And she would just go out and walk up and down the street by our Airbnb. Hilarious. But
That's
you
right.
did it, and you were
Oh,
committed.
I was, and
Mhm.
I just have to get back on that track because it was working for me for in
Mm,
terms of maintenance and just keeping my energy level up. And if you all remember, there was an empty parking lot across from the
mhm.
place that we had rented, and Lisa was there. She was walking around with me, making sure that I finished my steps. So thank you, Lisa. Shout out to you,
Oh,
girl.
so funny. Yeah, it's a reminder that I mentioned this earlier. I feel I'm like having information overload. There's so much information and everybody has a story and what works for one person. I mean, maybe doing pre-bought meals would be a great kickstart for me. Or what if I do it and it doesn't? I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that money. Or what if I want to try a, patch or a shot or something? Maybe I feel like I am not in menopause yet, but like I said, I'm riding my bike. Do 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 do. Here I go,
Hmm.
for sure. I mean, just based on my age, and I don't know what that means. And I remembered I did this in the past, and I love dessert, you guys, so much. All dessert, any flavor, any time of day. But when I eat it in the evening after dinner before I go to bed, I would melt at night. And when I stopped eating dessert, I was really restless. I wouldn't sleep
Hmm.
well. And that's when I would get like really hot at night. And I was like, this is so weird. And so I'm like, maybe it's all the sugar that I'm eating. And it
Hmm.
turns out it could be in my head, but I feel so much better. So that is encouraging, but also both you, Rachel, and Sheila talked about, walking and moving our bodies. And I used to work with Sheila, and one of the things we would do is walk at lunch. And I loved that. Not in the middle of the summer, people,
Right,
but all the
right.
other seasons. And just that 30 minutes in the middle of the day was so great because it broke up our day. We physically left the office, which sometimes I think we just need to do, but I don't have that
Sure.
luxury anymore. And I'm trying to get in a good routine at that. So I'm taking any suggestions. But like you said, sometimes it's not cardio. We're supposed to do more weight training. And what does that look like? And I need a buddy, but it's so hot here. Nobody wants to work out. And I don't want to join the gym because I can, use the one hour. It's like I have all these excuses. Sheila and I did a CrossFit like a month ago, but I didn't really like it. So I don't want to go back. I did like a free trial, but I was like, this is not for me. So I'm trying to find something. I feel better when I am physically moving my body. I'm not going to run a marathon, but if I walk or something, I feel better than, or do yoga, than doing strength training, but I need more of a structure when I strength train. So I'm sort of trying to figure that out. Sheila, did you like that cross training? Did that really,
I actually did.
Oh.
And, as much as I'd like to continue, it obviously costs money to do that. There's either you sign up as a member or you pay as a, for drop-in classes.
Right.
But there are certainly other things that I can do that is more within my budget. For instance, at work, we're really lucky that we have access to a gym and also classes. And there's an F45 class that will resume again when the semester starts. And, we work on campus. And so that's, I think, what I'd like to do because I really enjoyed that. The instructors were fun. There was some great music, and I like the variety of the exercises.
And you're with a group and there's an assigned time. So you have that accountability.
Right.
You're
Correct.
accountable to them. They're helping hold you accountable. I like that.
Yeah. And again, a reminder to folks who are listening to us that everybody's going to be different. And what works for one person is not going to work for the other. I mean, just among the three of us, we all have varied things that we do, and it's totally okay.
And this is not backed by science or nutrition or anything like that.
Nope.
This is just where we are at. Like I said, there have been days where I have been in my closet and just cried because I didn't like anything. And I thought, how did I get here? And not every day, but sometimes. And we all kind of, Rachel hit on that. We all get to this place where we need to take better care of ourselves. And sometimes it's how we feel, or sometimes it's a health history. I do fully support all of us. I think we're all good at this, but we definitely need to be diligent and be consistent and make sure that we are taking care of our bodies and seeing some kind of practitioner on a regular basis. You just never know what's going on or what's going to happen. If you haven't, go do it.
Yes, highly
Yes.
encourage you to do that, folks. I did want to mention, Dana, if I don't say it enough, and I will continue to say it, that we are all here to support one another. Not just this little group that we have here, but our larger circle of people. And so no matter what you may be going through, and I'm talking to you, Dana, right now, you know that you can come to either one of us. Even if it's just, you don't have to tell us the specifics, but just, hey, I'm having a tough time. And maybe I'll send you like some weird emoji. I don't know.
I love that. And I also think that paints us in our friendship and how we have grown and why we are so close and support each other and why we wanted to do this. I'm a pretty open book. So we're trying to, not throw everything out on the table, see how far this goes. But I don't have a problem, talking about these things and sharing these things because I know it's not me. I also have a sister and she and I talk about this stuff. As my blood relative, we are going through completely different things. We're going through this stage of life together. We're only 3 years apart, but she has completely different symptoms and different obstacles and hurdles than I do. So, that's just one relationship. And then there's the three of us. And I think, there's so many other people out there that just don't know, or what we think we see in other people may not be right. That facade, whether it's, in our families or our friendships or at work, what we may see, we don't always know those internal struggles. And so I appreciate that, Sheila. And I hope that everybody knows that this is a safe place. share what you think or what you feel, or, I'm also open to suggestions. And if I don't like it, I'll probably tell you that too.
And she will too.
But I'll say it with a smile.
No holding back. No, I thank you, ladies, again. You definitely were there through the thick of it, and continue to be there as well. So that for sure, even having that support system and just making everybody else aware, there are options out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a number of gym memberships. I've got friends and family who are in the gym every day, almost as much as they can. And I call my one cousin, and he'll know who he is, my gym rat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like beefed up. And so I ran into him at the grocery store the other day, and I'm just like, got to make sure I'm equal like you. It's just, I need the strength training. And I see him and how he did it. And I'm like, okay, this is something I can do. And, Dana, you and I have talked about our strength
Mhm.
training, and we need
Yeah.
to do this. So for sure. And I think just talking out loud about it hits my phone, because that's when I start getting all of the reels, like, here's your personal trainer. And
Oh yeah, totally. We're gonna get a lot of at-home
Right.
at-home exercise suggestions.
And what's
for
funny
sure.
is I save those. It's like, I'm going to come back to that later. So yeah, shout out Instagram. We love you.
Going back to your original question, Dana, how are we
Mhm.
taking care of ourselves?
Mhm.
Not only is it physical, but certainly mental. We need to take care of our mental well-being and whatever that may look like to each of us, right? It's this connection that keeps me going. That's what's important to me. I find too that, I've been reading things about cortisol levels, for instance, and I feel like my stress level is through the roof lately. So I need to learn ways to help with my mental well-being. And so that's another task that's heavy on my list of things to do as part of my health journey.
That's a
Sheila,
great reminder.
I bet I have an oil for that.
Yay, Rachel.
Rachel is our health and wellness guru over here, and she always has an oil for every ailment that we have. So
That's right.
I do love that.
She is a queen of the elixir.
She is.
The oil elixir.
But she's very healthy. I
Oh, for
mean,
sure.
Try to be. I really try to be. But again, this has all been a journey of learning different things. So yeah, shout out to Young Living and everybody else out there who may need a path or something. But
Mhm.
most definitely back on the mental awareness. I had a boss once who had always told me, you've got all this PTO and you make sure you take a you day. And I said, a what? She goes, you need to take a day just for yourself. Don't worry about the kids. Don't worry about your husband. Don't worry about anything. You go and you do a you day. So she would make sure that we had a me day scheduled once a year, get away from work, get away from all the chaos. And you went and took care of yourself. You pampered yourself, took yourself to lunch, whatever, spa, whatever. If you want to just go read, which, 100% game, give me a day off and I'll go read a book.
Mhm. Me too.
I really think that is very essential, especially for working moms who may just feel like they have to have the answer to everything at one time, because everybody goes through it. But you need to take care of yourself, and you need to make yourself a priority, and don't ever think, I don't have time for that. Jill and Sam are running all over the place. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
They have a dad. There's somebody
Mhm.
there in your community or your village who can help you out. You need to make sure you do that. And I'll
That is
just leave it at that.
advice. Excellent advice. We have been there, people. I know it's hard to believe. As we said, we're all empty nesters and we have all this time and we can't figure out how to make time to work out. It's the weirdest thing ever. But Rachel is 100% right. Nothing is going to burn down. It's just not. It might be a little messy, but definitely take time for yourself. And at all times, I had a boss who encouraged me on that too. And Sheila and I work for an organization right now who have that scheduled into our PTO. We have what we call a well-being day. It's a use it or lose it. So it's really encouraged and supported that we take that. And you also have sick days in PTO. So I have been guilty of waking up in the morning and being like, no, I'm not, this is not going to work for me today. going to get a pedicure because that's what I need to do. You're welcome to all my coworkers.
It's okay to be selfish and to take
Yeah.
care of you first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Excellent. I think this is a great place to end. I have
Thanks,
lots more to
Dana.
say, but we'll add it for another session.